Hi again. This is Miss Janice. I wanted to go to the board. Okay, we're going to start with the alphabet. I hope you can see these letters. If not, I'm going to suggest that at the dollar store, they have charts up here. But the reason I'm going to write it on the board is because I'm teaching younger how to write in between teaching the word. Remember, it's homework ministry. And so usually what you're taught, you're supposed to go home and practice or go to your room or go to your cute little cubby hole. I've shown you in my room, if I'm teaching from my desk in my room, I have a camera that like looks over my shoulder, so I'll squeeze in my little chair. But remember, the theme for today is it's not hidden, it's just silent. So that means that you can see it. But in order to learn sight words, it's really about learning sight words in the natural. Spiritually, as you're walking with Christ, remember I was telling you how what's on the inside of you is not hidden, it's just silent. That means that it's there, it's just not developed enough so it can come out like, like if you're seeing visions, you see the visions, right? But you don't know what to do with them. So there's a video that is going to be uploaded to YouTube, and I believe it's going to say it's not hidden, it's silent, and I'll be sitting at the table. Well, this one is not hidden, it's silent, is talking about words. Okay, the sounds of the letters are, I'll do sign language. A, B, K, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, K, R, S, T, A, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay? So when you're writing your letters, remember, if you know how to make a capital I, a lowercase I, a capital O, a lowercase o, you know how to write every letter and every number in the English and Spanish alphabet and numeric system. Okay. One of the reasons that you want to learn how to practice those first is because you're going to need them the rest of your life. You're going to need it the rest of your life. Sometimes it's fancy, and the fanciness comes when you're learning how to write in cursive. Like, for example, in a cursive I, use the movement of making an O. So you have this line here, that's called across the bridge. Then you want to have this line right here, go under the bridge, up the ladder, over the bridge, down the ladder, under the bridge, and stop. Wait, let me make an eye. Look at the L of me. Okay. I'm sorry, that's how I make my capital I. That's how I make my capital I. But you say the same words to make a lowercase cursive I. See, remember I told you you're going to learn stuff before and behind. And the reason you learn it before is because there's going to be young people out there that are going to want to tutor. They're going to want to teach their little brother, little sister. They're going to teach those that they babysit, so that they have something to do besides watch television. I hear the Lord saying that is one of the things that you're asking Him for, what to do to earn you the popularity of the best babysitter. The best babysitter. I remember when I used to babysit, I would teach kids, of course, how to how to read or excuse me, I would teach them how to read. I would read to kids. I would take them to the store with the money that I would buy, that I would make, and I buy them little church outfits. I was the best babysitter. I would cook dinner for the family of the children I was babysitting so that they wouldn't have to because they worked. And I loved to cook because I learned how to cook. See, I was the best babysitter. I mean, I had come to such a phenomenal place in life to where I knew how to do all these different things so that when it was my turn to be around kids and their parents, I would teach them to say yes, ma'am. I would teach them to say no, sir. I would teach them what I knew because that's my job on earth, is to teach what the Lord has allowed me to learn. And he said, little one, teach my children that what I've taught you, and lo, I'll be with you always, even till the end of the world. I didn't do it on a big scale as I'm doing right now, but I knew what my calling in life was, and I also knew that I wasn't ready to teach like teachers do then. Now, put me in front of a board, sit me in a chair, put a Bible in front of me, I'll teach you something. Okay, so I'm teaching at each level so that no one will be left behind. Okay? So as you're writing cursive, as you're teaching another person to learn how to write, you want to remember that rule. You go down the ladder, you go across the bridge, you go across the bridge. You go, that makes a capital I. You go down the ladder and stop at the top. You don't have to do because usually when you're writing on a piece of paper, if you just have a pencil, you do like that, that's sufficient. Okay, to make a capital O, you got to remember, you go over the bridge, down the ladder, under the bridge, and then up the ladder. So, and then to make a lowercase o, you do the same thing. You go over the bridge, down the ladder, under the bridge, and up the... That could be a song. So you go... Because as I was saying it and supposedly waiting for you to say the answer and then follow behind you, it was coming out with a little beat there. I hope you received the opportunity to look at the syllable, introduce me to syllable or meet syllable or something. It was a video before. Okay, so in this, the reason for it was when you're traveling, when you're writing, it's like traveling. And you have your piece of paper, and then depending on what grade you're in, but no matter what grade you're in, you always want to practice what you know. Always want to practice it. Because like the Lord has given me the alphabet song, different techniques and patterns and rules for writing, reading, and doing math, He will give you yours if that's your desire. If you want your own personal way to teach, and He has called you to teach, He will give it to you. He will give you own. I mean, the Lord wakes me up with stuff. Or as I'm going about my day. Like I just walk everywhere. When my little ones were growing up, my youngest one, I believe, was 1.5 when she came home. And so I just babied her. She was 1.5, but I mean, even when she was like 2 and 3, the stroller was big enough, and I used to walk everywhere, take the bus, and then walk, take the bus, everywhere. And I knew that she wouldn't walk as much as me, and she was too big to carry. But anyway, I babied her to death. I mean, it went from going for a walk in the stroller to come on, let's go find. Her name is Nahala Makia, and her name when she was little her last name was Osborne. So her name when she was little had every letter almost in the alphabet, except for like 7 or 8 or something like that. And it was NAHAILAMYKEYIAOSBORNE. And so we would go out every day and find letters to her name. I mean, she was little, and and we put them up on the little sticky magnet things. And then I taught her how to write her name, spell her name, say her name, songs about her name. And then after we did that, then the Lord just started giving me ways to teach her how to read. So she was reading by the time she was 3 and 4, because most all of the sounds of the alphabet was in her name. Okay, so you want to go. You want to teach a person how to spell their name. Well, the word that we're going to learn today is doubt, and the reason being is because sound words like at and at, hand, and. But there are words that have letters in them. They're not hidden. They're just silent. You just don't say them. And those are called sight words. They're sound words, which is the ones I just told you. And you can sound a word out. Gorilla. If someone asked you how to spell gorilla, you would go "g." I mean, you probably wouldn't spell it correct, but you could. But if someone else was looking over your shoulder and said, "Oh yeah, that does say gorilla," gorilla. See, I mean that's not how you spell gorilla, but when you're learning how to sound out words, you spell what you hear. So our word for the day is doubt. So and then O and U reads ow, like ow. Ooh, ow. Then it has a B in it. And then it ends with a T sound. Okay, so first we're going to use our principles or our rule regarding these letters. So in order to write a lowercase d, because you want to do it on the line, so you want to practice. You go over the bridge, very good, down the ladder, very good, under the bridge, very good, up the ladder. Then you want to make this line. You go down the ladder. Okay. You already know how to make this one. Go over the bridge, down the ladder, under the bridge, up the ladder. Very good. Then you want to know how to make this letter. You go down the ladder, under the bridge, up the ladder, down the ladder. Very good. Now you want to know how to make this one. You go down the ladder. Then you stop. Okay. Then you go in the middle. This is the middle. This is the top. This is the bottom. This is the middle. If you want to do your hand, you go top, bottom, middle. You want to do your ear, you go top, bottom, middle. You want to do your mouth, you go top, bottom, middle. Very good. So this is the top line, this is the bottom line, and the middle line is the one that's like being on the road. There's a video and it talks about how it looks and how come the Lord allowed me to come up with this rule or this pattern, because it's like traveling on a road. And it looks like that. It looks like it. Cars, everything. And then when you go to a bridge that opens up, and I live in Portland, Oregon, so if you go to a bridge that opens up, you'll see how the people go up the ladder into this little house, and then they get out, they come down the ladder. So it's really nice. Writing is very artistic. It's very artistic, and it takes practice. You have to practice. And one of the best ways to practice is with your name, or with the name of a young person that you're teaching how to write. You always want to hear something like, Johnny told me how to write, or Emily did. Because someone's always asking, oh, who told you how to write like that? You write so pretty. My sister, And boy, will they tell it. Well, how did you learn what did she do? What did she say? Well, she said it's like a game. Well, my girls used to go to school. My littlest one, first. Well, my oldest one, she was 7. And we used to read together. She got to the point where she was on an 8th grade reading level in the 2nd grade. And it takes practice. And it takes it's like a twinning. I used to twin her. Like she'd go to the library at her school and she'd get a Newbery Book Award book. Like, let's see. Indian in the Cupboard. Oh, that was a good book. Anyway, so she'd go and get that. Well, then we would go to the library and then we'd go to her section and then I would ask her, well, where would I find the book at? And she said, Mom, you have to look at they're in alphabetical order, and because I would teach her stuff, and then she would have to retell me so that when she would go to school at her library, she would know to go to the section that she wanted, to go alphabetically, like that. So she would have to teach me what I taught her, and then to see if she remembers, she would have to teach me. I'd be like, well, what if I can't see? Then how would I know to find a book? Anyway, so you want to teach. You want to always teach. You want to always show somebody what you've learned, okay? So you go down the ladder, and in the middle, you go over the bridge, down the, under the, and up the ladder, okay? And then the T. Down the, stop, across the bridge. So it's down the ladder, across the bridge. Okay? And remember, down the ladder, across the bridge, down the ladder, stop, over the ladder, over the bridge, down the ladder, under the bridge, up the bridge. See? Every letter. And I showed you how to do it with numbers, everything. Okay, now the reason the Lord wants us to talk about the word doubt is because when we do it, so that means it's going to happen. So when we do it, what he wants you to do is to talk to him about how you're feeling. How you're feeling. For example, you'll hear the Lord say, I need you to apologize. Now, of course, we're going to doubt that because who wants to apologize? I'm going to tell you how to get around apologizing. Don't do it. That's how I learned. I'm like, Lord, you always tell me to apologize. How come I always got to apologize? And then I said, I'm going to stop doing that. That way I won't have to apologize. So, don't do it. Then you won't have to apologize. Because if it makes you feel bad, then don't do it. Don't do don't do the incident so you won't have to apologize. But you'll get used to apologizing. Because there's going to be a lot of things that people, even though you didn't do it wrong, say it wrong, act wrong, etc., people are going to think you did. And you don't want to make people feel bad because you're growing in the love of Jesus Christ. You want to be the positive influence on everybody around you. And what does that is the Jesus on the inside of you, starting to come out of you, and prayer and talking to Jesus, okay? So doubt. Your homework is to find that word and write find that word, find that situation that's in your life, and write a story about it. Tape a story, say it in your phone. If you say it in your mom or dad's phone. Doubt means to basically not believe. Don't have faith. A lot of times when we don't understand something, we doubt it. That's